Jill here, Special Needs Mom Talks. I got to go make dinner here in a few minutes, but wanted to come on and just say that it is Tuberous Sclerosis Complex Awareness Day today, and that's a condition that causes benign tumors to grow in different organs of the body, like throwing a wrench in it. It is quite a challenge. People can be mildly affected or very significantly, and even mildly affected can create all kinds of challenges in our systems of care, as the systems of care are necessarily disconnected. I'd say inverted, in that they're not really serving humans. They're serving the idea of humans in static points, but that's a whole nother discussion. Anyways, it's a tough disease to manage. I'm not sure how it ended up starting and getting into the genome, but it's been around since the 1800s. I'm really curious if it's some kind of like toxin, I don't know, even a vaccine injury from back then, and that's probably pretty whack. But as we go forward, just feeling really strongly that we're not looking at all the pieces when we go about suggesting that, as far as raising awareness, finding a cure. Are we finding a cure? Are we really looking for a cure? Or are we just creating more, more divergence, more complications with more medications, better medications maybe, perhaps? Yes, I've seen that over the course of the condition as it's, impacted my offspring. But where did it even start? It seems like there's people that are diagnosed with this that are worse and worse and worse. Like their condition is being exacerbated as it continues on from generation to generation. And I have to ask, is that partly due to the increase in vaccines that are mandated in many areas? Is there even any way to study that? Because I'm sure there's not a population of people with TSC out there that are unvaccinated. But I am very curious. I do not think that it has no impact. And I think it's the sacred cow that, because it is tied in with government and corporations and science somehow, we just can't even discuss it and even think about the fact that that could be making our kids worse, our offspring worse. But I'm willing to say that. And again, the food and the diet, how it all ties together. I think that's being looked at more. I do know some clinics now have nutritionists on board, and that's great. I think it's the cohesiveness of mind, body, spirit. It's not just a physical condition. It's so much more, and as everything is, but we're seeing it down low, and we're just nitpicking these details. I look at the flyers that come out for these research conferences, and it's like 25 different pharma companies that are sponsoring it. Has anybody stepped away enough to see that? That's it. So, got a lot on my mind about this, but I do think it's really important to raise awareness. This is a condition that requires ultimate compassion from yourself. If you have it, you are freaking amazing to show up and choose that in this incarnation. And I'm sure many of you have stopped listening to me by now when I say that kind of thing, but I really believe that. I believe we do choose it on some level to have these experiences and to stand up and talk about it, and to ultimately be so enmeshed with every single system managing this condition that you either just implode, or you put your hand up and say, this is too much. So maybe that's what we're here to really exemplify, why the systems cannot be like this. It's impossible to have any kind of a life when you're so highly invested in managing on your own, because there's no guidance from the external. So ultimately, a lot of you parents out there, individuals that have it, know this. You're on your own in a lot of ways. We have great doctors, and it's, if you do it this way, you're not going to suffer too much, but it's a lot. It's a lot. Having 3 affected has been a lot. And I am grateful, I am blessed and all that, but I am not going to come on here and say that it's been easy, that I think things are better in any way, that my quality of life has improved. It's like chasing a runaway train that, while they're chucking things off the back at you while you're running after it. That's what it feels like very often with this condition. So, yeah, if you know someone that has this condition, just open your heart, and they just have some compassion for what the families are dealing with, the individuals are dealing with, and a lot of love. I think that's what I've learned through it all. You got to have a lot of love. You just got to stay in the day and keep walking forward. So that's my rant.